Good morning, students. Welcome to our class Microbiology and Parasitology. It is good to teach you again another new topic through me. Let us make this day a productive one, so please lend me your ears, keep your focus on the lessons, and have fun while learning. Before proceeding to our lesson, let us first have our prayer. Please bow your heads and let us pray.
Please bow your heads and let us pray. Dear Jesus, please show me how to spend this day sharing your love in every way. Help me to be kind to everyone, to play and laugh and have lots of fun, shining your light and giving your grace, sharing your joy with a smile on my face. Angel of God, my guardian dear, to whom God's love commits me here. Ever this day be at my side, to light and guard, to rule and guide. Amen.
Again, good morning everyone. I am teacher Angelica Mendoza. Welcomes you to the Genus Plasmodium. Let us all discover it, the malarial parasites of man. Class, I know that most of you are not yet familiar with the genus Plasmodium. Now, of course, we have to decipher the meaning of it. Okay, so genus Plasmodium is a genus of unicellular eukaryotes that are obligate parasites of vertebrates and insects. Okay, so when we say unicellular eukaryotes, these are microorganisms that have definite or defined nucleus. Okay, so meron silang nucleus, meron din silang mitochondria, and of course, meron din silang other organelles. Okay, so pag sinabi din natin unicellular eukaryotes, sila rin yung mga microorganisms that cannot survive without their host or yung tinatawag nating biktima nila. So, kailangan nila dumepende sa host nila for them to be able to survive. Okay, so moving on. The life cycles of Plasmodium species involve development in a blood-feeding insect host, which then injects parasites into a vertebrate host during a blood meal. Okay, so Plasmodium is a genus of parasitic protozoans of the sporozoan subclass Coccidia that are the causative organisms of malaria. Okay, so take note that the causative organisms of the disease called malaria is the Plasmodium. Okay, so Plasmodium, which infects red blood cells in mammals including humans, birds, and reptiles, occurs worldwide, especially in tropical and temperate zones. Okay, so take note that yung pagkakaroon ng malaria, yung disease ng malaria is hindi lang siya nag-occur in a particular place or country, but worldwide. Okay, so walang pinipiling lugar or country ang disease ng malaria. Okay, so the organism is transmitted by the bite of the female Anopheles mosquito. Other insects and some mites may also transmit forms of malaria to animals. Okay, so moving on. What is an Anophele? Okay, so I have mentioned earlier the term Anophele. Okay, so Anophele is a mosquito of a genus which is particularly common in warmer countries and includes the mosquitoes that transmit the malaria parasites to humans. Okay, so understood naman na yan na yung sinasabi nating Anopheles dyan is sila yung female mosquitoes na nagtra-transmit ng malaria to humans. Okay, so itong mga female mosquitoes na to, these are called the carrier or the transmitter or the vector of the malaria parasite to humans. Okay, so this is an example image of a female mosquito which is popularly known as Anophele. Okay, so moving on. I have mentioned earlier that the Anophele or the female mosquito causes malaria. And now, let me have a brief discussion about malaria to you, class. Okay, so malaria is a serious and sometimes fatal disease caused by a parasite that commonly infects a certain type of mosquito which feeds on humans. Okay, so hindi lang basta sakit or disease itong malaria because sabi nga doon sa information na nakuha natin, it is a serious and sometimes fatal disease which is nagkukos ng death kapag napabayaan. Ayan, so yung certain type of mosquito na sinasabi natin dyan, yun nga yung nabanggit ko na anophil, which is the female mosquito. Yan, so people who get malaria are typically very sick. So these are the symptoms kapag nagkaroon ka ng malaria. So andyan yung high fevers, shaking chills, and flu-like illness. So now, let's move on. Okay, so malaria parasite is found in red blood cells of an infected person or an organism. Okay, so take note class that malaria can also be transmitted through blood transfusion. Okay, so magkakaroon ka ng malaria kapag sumailalim ka sa mga process na ito like blood transfusion, organ transplant, or the shared use of needles or syringes contaminated with blood. Okay, so once na contaminated yung tinurok sa yung needles or syringes, no? Malaki yung possibility, malaki yung probability na magkakaroon ka ng disease called malaria. Okay, so hindi lang doon. Malaria may also be transmitted from a mother to her unborn infant before or during delivery na tinatawag naman nating congenital malaria. Okay, so katanungan. So, is malaria a contagious disease? Ayan. So, definitely no. Hindi contagious disease yung malaria. Okay? So, malaria is not spread from person to person like a cold or the flu. So, hindi siya kagaya ng cold or flu na maipapasa siya direct contact or person-to-person contact. At hindi rin siya matransmit sexually. Okay? So, malinaw tayo doon. Okay, so you cannot get malaria from a casual contact with malaria-infected people such as sitting next to someone who has malaria. Okay, so hindi ka agad-agad magkakaroon ng malaria kapag ganun lang, kapag halimbawa may kausap ka lang or may nakausap ka lang, may nakahawakan ka ng kamay, hindi ganun. Kasi sabi ko nga kanina, malaria can be transmitted through blood transfusion, ganyan, or naipapasa din kapag a mother to her unborn child na tinatawag na nating congenital malaria. Okay, so now, let us proceed to the 5 types or species that cause malaria to humans. Okay, so I have here a graphic organizer class containing the 5 species. Okay, so isa-isahin natin sila. Now, let us proceed to the first one. Okay, so we have the Plasmodium vivax. Okay, so I know that sa malaria lang kayo familiar, pero itong mga species na ito is you are not familiar with this. Okay, so unahin natin yung Plasmodium vivax. Okay, so Plasmodium vivax is a protozoal parasite and a human pathogen. This parasite is the most frequent and widely distributed cause of recurring malaria. Okay, so itong klase ng Plasmodium na ito is very common siya. Okay, so vivax or the Plasmodium vivax malaria infections can lead to severe disease and of course death. Okay, so kahit hindi naman malaria, no, kahit na maliit na sickness or disease lang yan, once na napabayaan mo yan is nagkukos talaga siya ng kamatayan or death. Okay, so P. vivax malaria infections can lead to severe disease and death, often due to tinatawag nating splenomegaly o yung pathogen, no? Pathogen itong tinatawag nating splenomegaly. Okay, so PVVAX is carried by of course, the female Anopheles mosquito. Kasi yung kadalasan kasi yung mga males sa mosquito natin is wala silang bit or dalang disease na nagpo-cause sa humans or other organisms. Okay, so now let us proceed to the second, which is the Plasmodium ovale or the Plasmodium ovale. Okay, so it is a species of parasitic protozoa that causes tertian malaria in humans. Okay, so it is one of several species of Plasmodium parasites that infect humans, including Plasmodium falciparum and Plasmodium vivax, which are responsible for most malarial infection. Okay, so it is rare compared to these two parasites and substantially less dangerous than P. falciparum. Okay, so itong si Plasmodium ovale natin is it is less dangerous than other Plasmodium species. Okay, so now let us proceed to the Plasmodium falciparum. Okay, so Plasmodium falciparum is a unicellular protozoan parasite of humans. Okay, so itong protozoan parasite natin is they are also called the single-celled organisms na hindi nila kayang mabuhay, hindi nila kayang mag-survive kapag wala silang dinedependihan. Okay, so kailangan nila ng host para sila ay makasurvive. Okay, so itong si Plasmodium falciparum natin, it is the deadliest species of Plasmodium that causes malaria in humans. Okay, take note, ito yung pinakadelikado. It is the deadliest Plasmodium that causes malaria in humans. Okay, so the parasite is transmitted through the bite, of course, of a female Anopheles mosquito and causes the disease most dangerous form, falciparum malaria. Okay, so it is responsible for around 50% of all malaria cases. Okay, so itong si Plasmodium falciparum naman din natin is therefore regarded as the, of course, yung sinabi ko na kanina, as the deadliest parasite in humans na nagkukos nga ng kamatayan. Okay, so it is also associated with the development of blood cancer. Okay, so itong si Plasmodium falciparum, hindi lang malaria yung binibigay niya, kundi pati na rin blood cancer, okay, sa humans, na tinatawag naman nating Burkitt's lymphoma and is classified as group 2A carcinogen. Now, let us proceed to the fourth. Okay, so the Plasmodium malariae. Okay. Plasmodium malariae is a parasitic protozoan that causes malaria in humans. It is one of several species of Plasmodium parasites that infect other organisms as pathogens, including Plasmodium falciparum and Plasmodium vivax, responsible for most malarial infection. Okay, so natatagpuan siya worldwide. Okay, so tinatawag siyang benign malaria or benign malaria, not nearly as dangerous as that produced by P. falciparum or P. vivax. Okay, sa Plasmodium malariae, kapag nagkaroon ka nito, pwede kang magkaroon ng signs and symptoms that include fevers that recur at approximately 3-day intervals. Okay, so a quartan fever or quartan malaria longer than the 2-day o yung tinatawag nating tertian malaria intervals of the other malarial parasites. Okay, so now class, let us proceed to the last type. We have the Plasmodium knowlesi. Okay, so ito yung last type of species natin that causes malaria to humans. Okay, so Plasmodium knowlesi natin, it is a parasite that causes malaria in humans and other primates. Okay, so natatagpuan siya usually throughout Southeast Asia, and it is the most common cause of human malaria. Okay, so like other Plasmodium species, P. knowlesi has a life cycle that requires infection of both a mosquito and a warm-blooded host. Okay, so while the natural warm-blooded hosts of P. knowlesi are likely various old world monkeys, okay, humans can be infected by P. knowlesi if they are fed upon by infected mosquitoes. O yung kapag once nga na sumipsip yung mosquito sa'yo, of course, di ba, na-transmit na yung parasite sa loob ng katawan ng isang tao. And take note that P. knowlesi is a eukaryote. So, P. knowlesi is a single-celled microorganism na merong nucleus, mitochondria, and other organelles na hindi kayang mabuhay kapag wala silang host. Okay, so understood. Okay, so humans infected with P. knowlesi can develop uncomplicated or severe malaria similar to the caused by Plasmodium falciparum. Okay, so kapag once na napabayaan mo siya, hindi mo siya binigyan ng atensyon, or hindi ka nag-seek agad ng doctor, ganon, di ba? Pwede siyang lumala at pwede siyang maging kasing lala ng Plasmodium falciparum natin, which is nga yung kinoconsider natin na deadliest type of Plasmodium. Okay, so diagnosis of P. knowlesi infection is challenging, as P. knowlesi is very closely resembles other species that infect humans. Okay, so yung treatment naman natin, treatment is similar to other types of malaria. So kapag once na infected na yung tao, no, ng parasite na ito, pwede siyang mag-take ng gamot na tinatawag natin chloroquine. Okay? Chloroquine or artemisinin combination therapy. Okay? So pwede silang mag-take ng mga ganong klaseng gamot. Typically recommended. P. knowlesi malaria is an emerging disease previously thought to be rare in humans. Okay, so hindi naman siya ganun ka-common, no, unlike other Plasmodium species. Pero once na nagkaroon ka naman ng ganito, malaki yung possibility na mahirap talaga kapag na-infect ka nito, kasi complicated at severe yung mangyayari sa'yo kapag napabayaan mo siya. Okay, so now, let us proceed. Okay, to the stages of transmission. Okay, so meron tayong tatlong Plasmodium transmission stages. Okay, so unahin natin si gametocytes. Okay, so ano ba yung tinatawag nating gametocytes? Okay, so gametocytes are the first step of sexual cycle which occurs inside the anophilin vector. Okay, so nangyayari yung sexual cycle, no, of course sa ating vector or the carrier or the transmitter, which is yung tinatawag nating anophils. Okay, so doon na de-develop yung cell na yun. Okay, so the maturation of gametocytes is done in bone, marrow, and spleen depending on species. Okay, so mature gametocytes are the only stages circulating in peripheral blood. Okay, so the production rate and timing of gametocytes is highly regulated by internal or genetic and epigenetic and external factors such as host, the nutrients, lipids, and the environment. Okay, so when ingested by mosquitoes, gametocytes are exposed to a major drop in temperature and to sulfuronic acid triggering their maturation into gametes. Okay, so yung gametocytes na, no, from the word itself, gametes. Okay, so these are cells, no? These are cells na nadi-divide through the process of mitosis. Okay, so yung sexual cycle or yung development ng mga cells na yan is nangyayari sa loob ng transmitter natin or the carrier natin, which is yung anophil nga. Okay, so once na nag-mature na yung mga cells na yan, no, at kapag ready na sila na lumabas mula sa mosquito, at kapag yung once na yung mosquito is sisip-sip na doon sa host niya, is marirelease na, mabibigay niya na yung mga cells. Okay class, after the gametocyte stage, let us proceed to the sporozoites. Okay, so sporozoites are the infectious stage injected to the dermis during the infected mosquito's bite. Okay, so using gliding motility properties, a proportion of these sporozoites can reach the bloodstream in 1 to 3 hours, while others are destroyed by host response. Okay, so next slide. Okay, so the sporozoites are transmitted via the saliva of a feeding mosquito to the human bloodstream. Okay, so pumapasok sila sa ating bloodstream and dumediretso sila sa ating liver parenchyma cells, where they divide and form merocytes. Okay, so approximately, no, nag-stay yung mga matured cells na yun sa ating liver cells approximately 2 to 10 days. Okay, so hindi mo pa dito sa sporozoid cells, hindi mo pa siya ganun mararamdaman na meron ka na palang malaria kasi wala siyang maibibigay na symptoms sa'yo. Okay, so parang normal lang. Okay, so now let us proceed to the third stage, which is called the merozoites stage. Okay, so the merozoites are released into the bloodstream and infect red blood cells. Okay, kung the key difference between sporozoites and merozoites, kung si sporozoites, ini-infect niya yung liver cells, dito naman sa merozoites, ini-infect niya yung ating red blood cells. Okay, so rapid division of the merozoites results in the destruction of the red blood cells, and the newly multiplied merozoites then infect new red blood cells. Okay, so talagang tinitira nitong merozoites na to yung red blood cells natin, even yung new red blood cells natin. Okay, so some merozoites may develop into gametocytes. Okay, so naproproduce itong merozoites ng new gametocytes na once naman na kapag kinagat tayo or nag-feed sa atin yung isang particular anophil, no, nakukuha niya yung gametocytes na yun. At syempre yung gametocytes na yun is nade-develop siya, and yung sexually cycle and development ng gametocytes na yun is nangyayari sa mismong anophil. Okay, so doon sila nagmamature, so cycle lang. Okay, so the red blood cells destroyed by the merozoites liberate toxin that cause the periodic chill and fever cycles that are the typical symptoms of malaria. Okay, so class, if you are experiencing or nararamdaman mo na meron kang chill and fever, okay, so pabalik-balik lang yung lagnat mo. Okay, so you have to seek for medical attention. So magpakonsulta ka na. Okay, so para maagapan agad, kasi sabi ko nga kanina, once na hindi mo napabayaan mo siya, hindi mo siya nabigyan ng attention, is magkukos siya ng kamatayan. Okay, so that ends our discussion. I hope that you learned something today. Thank you for listening, and have a nice day ahead. Thank you, class.